Hey guys, so this week we are going to be focusing on weather. So I'm going to make this video to really summarize what we need to know for our EOG and what you need to know for this week's assignment on weather. Weather is a huge unit, so I wanted to go over the things that you really need to know. So first we're going to start with weather tools. So we're going to skip through some of these. So a thermometer is a weather tool used to measure temperature. It tells you how hot or how cold it is outside. It is measured in Celsius and Fahrenheit. And in America, we use Fahrenheit. A wind vane is a weather tool used to show the direction of the wind. So a wind vane, usually see a little rooster on top of them, and they spin and will tell us how fast the wind, or not fast, sorry, what direction the wind is going, not how fast. An anemometer is used to measure how fast the wind is blowing. So an anemometer is a tool that measures the wind speed. Anemometer is wind speed. A barometer is measuring air pressure. So air pressure is really important to predict good or bad weather, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So barometer measures air pressure. So here's a good little thing to remember. A barbell, which is like something you use to lift weights, is weight lifting, so it has a lot of pressure to pick up the weight. A hygrometer measures humidity. So a good little thing to remember is H starts with humidity and hygrometer starts with an H. A rain gauge tells you how much rain has fallen. It's basically just some sort of cup that fills with water. Pretty simple. And we're going to skip over those two. All right, next we are going to talk about clouds. So it's important to know the cloud types, but it's also important to know what kind of weather the clouds bring. So clouds are made up of tiny water droplets or ice crystals, and there's specific cloud names. So the three main types are cumulus, stratus, and cirrus, and we also talk about cumulonimbus. So a cirrus cloud looks like this. The word cirrus comes from a Latin word and means a tuft or curl of hair. So cirrus clouds are the feathery, wispy clouds. Some more pictures. Cirrus generally occur in fair weather and point in the direction of air movement at their elevation. So for cirrus clouds, I want you guys to remember that when you see a cirrus cloud, that means that there is fair weather happening, but it also means that the weather is going to change in 24 hours, or like the next day, the weather is going to be a little bit different than fair. Next is stratus. So stratus clouds are low clouds. They're like a blanket that cover the sky. So I know you see three names here, but I just want you to remember this top one, which is stratus. Here's a picture, like a blanket that covers the sky. The word stratus means to spread out. They often produce mist or drizzle. Next is cumulus clouds. So cumulus clouds bring fair weather. They're like the cotton balls in the sky. Cumulonimbus clouds are the clouds that bring heavy thunderstorms. So cumulonimbus, it's really hard to pronounce, so that helps me remember that it's going to be thunderstorms so for some reason. And then here you have the fair weather, just cumulus clouds, the cotton ball looking clouds. Okay, so that's it for clouds and weather. Next, we're going to look at air masses and fronts. So an air mass is a large body of air with similar temperature, humidity, and air pressure. There's 4 types of air masses. There's tropical, which is warm air masses, polar, which would be cold air masses, maritime, which is air masses that form over the ocean. So you can, this little M-I-A-R-I, you can remember marine is the ocean. So maritime, I don't know how to say it correctly. Those are air masses that form over the ocean. And continental form over land. Next, we're going to talk about front. So a front is where air masses meet, but do not mix due to different temperatures and densities, and it becomes a front. So it's also important to know what kind of weather each front brings. So a cold front is a cold air mass is replacing a warmer air mass. So the cold air slides under the warm air mass, pushing it upward. The rising air cools and condenses, forming clouds. So cold front brings heavy rain or snow. So that is important to know. Cold front, heavy rain or snow. And a cold front can also cause thunderstorms. After the cold front passes, there's cool, dry air. So after the cold front goes through and overtakes the warm air mass, we will have cool, dry air. So clear skies and cooler temperatures often follow. A warm front is a warm air mass collides with a slowly moving cooler air mass. The warm air moves over the cold air. If the warm air is humid, showers and light rain fall along the front where the warm and cold air meet. If the warm air is dry, scattered clouds form. So warm fronts move more slowly than cold fronts. So the weather may be rainy or foggy for several days. But after the warm front passes, the weather is likely to be warm and humid. So remember that a cold front after it passes is going to be cold. After a warm front passes, it's going to be warm. But during the front, when it's hitting each other, there's usually storms for warm and cold. Next is an occluded front. It's when a warm front is trapped between 2 cold fronts. So a warm air mass is caught between 2 cooler air masses. So as the warm air cools and its water vapor condenses, the weather may turn cloudy and rainy or snowy. So during this front, it also will become rainy and stormy. Next is stationary. So a front that stops moving or is moving very slowly. So it's kind of like a standoff. They're stationary. So where the warm and cool air meet, water vapor in the air condenses into rain, snow, fog, or clouds. So again, during all of these fronts, during the front, there is stormy weather. But after a cold front, there is cold weather. After a warm front, there is warm weather. So after a stationary front, it is still going to be rainy, cloudy, and stormy. All right, so this is identifying it on a weather map. Last thing I want to talk about in this video is air pressure. So we measure air pressure with a barometer. Here's a picture of a barometer. I want to go over what kind of weather happens with a high pressure or low pressure system. So basically, I don't want to get too much into it. I just want to let you guys know that when it is low pressure, see if I can find. When it is low pressure, you have wet and cloudy weather. So low pressure is lousy, bad weather. High pressure is happy weather, so sunnier and drier. So when you have low pressure, a low pressure system, you have lousy, rainy, stormy weather. When you have a high pressure system, you have happy, sunny, dry weather. So that's an easy way to remember what happens with the different pressure systems. And again, there's the pictures. So that is all I have for today. Sorry this video was so long, but all that information will definitely help you with your assignment today. Thank you.